Hello, boys and girls. This is Aunt Miriam's Corner. Our today's story is entitled The Marked Man. Cain was terrified at what he had done as he saw his brother's body collapse upon the ground. He wondered what had happened, for he had never seen a man die before. Then, as the awful truth dawned upon him that Abel was dead, dead like that lamb on the altar which had been the cause of all the trouble, his anger turned to fear and remorse. He couldn't go back home, not now. He couldn't face father and mother, not after doing this dreadful thing. Nor could he face his brothers and sisters, for they would be angry with him and perhaps would want to kill him, as he had killed Abel. He would have to run away as far as he could go and never come back. That is what sin does. It separates loved ones, wrecks happiness, drives peace from the mind, and joy from the heart. As Cain fled from the scene, he heard God calling to him, "Where is Abel thy brother?" "I know not," said Cain, as though he could deceive God. Then, insolently, "Am I my brother's keeper? What hast thou done?" said God. "The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground." Of course, God knew all the time what had happened. Nothing is hid from him. He had witnessed the dreadful deed. He had seen Abel's blood upon the ground, and it cried for justice. Indeed, in the silence and helplessness of death, Abel cried louder than if he had been alive that something be done about this great wrong. Cain had broken the sixth commandment of God's holy law: "Thou shalt not kill." But by his pride, his jealousy, his anger, his selfishness, his lying, he had broken all the other nine as well. He had to be punished. But how? "And now art thou cursed from the earth," said God. "When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth." In his mercy, God did not take Cain's life, but sent him away from his home and from all who had been so dear to him, just as he had sent Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden when they had sinned against him. The lad was to be a fugitive, forever running for his life, a vagabond, a tramp who never dared settle down. "My punishment is greater than I can bear," said Cain, as he realized what his sin had cost him. "Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me." Poor Cain pictured himself as a forever living in constant fear of his life, always fleeing further and further from the home to which he could never return. Out of pity for this youth who had been so dear to him from babyhood, God set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. Just what this mark was, the Bible does not say. It may well have been a change in his face that sin, remorse, and worry always bring. Whatever it was, from this moment on, he was a different man, the first marked man in history. Marked, not that he might be caught and punished, but marked by his punishment that he might be spared. The mark did something else. It reminded Cain, his wife, his children, and all who should ever meet him how awful are the results of sin. It was warning to all never to follow that evil course which had brought so much sorrow upon himself and his loved ones. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. Did you ever stop to think what that meant to Adam and Eve? On the brief day, they lost two sons. Abel was dead, and Cain, their firstborn, on whom they had depended so much and on whom they had pinned their hopes for the future, was an outcast, hurrying toward the unknown lands toward the east for fear of his life. What a dark day that must have been! Not since that awful night when they had taken their last look at Eden and seen the angel with the flaming sword bearing their return, had they felt such utter loneliness and despair. Well might they have wondered whether life was worth living, and what was the use of hoping any more. Yet hope came again to their poor and sad hearts, and as so often happens, it came in the form of a baby. For it was at this very time that Eve had another baby boy. The Bible says, "And she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For God said, She hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew." So they started again, believing and hoping that this might be the baby through whom the promised seed would come. And this time, though they did not know it, they were right.